मोक्षे चिदानन्दमयो गुरुः उदेतु सततं सम्यक् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःशुराशुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः। See, in the last 6 chapters of Gita, we of course already we saw this. It deals with Jnana Yoga. Even in this, the essential teaching of all the Upanishads, they are condensed into 3 chapters out of the 6 chapters, namely the 13th, 14th, and 15th. 13th we have already seen, 14th we are now discussing, and 15th we will take up immediately after this. That means next week. The essence of this, the essence of all these teachings are given by Swami Paramarthananda in the form of, he calls it 5 capsules of Vedanta. This I shall post soon after this class in this group. Already it was for many, they are all aware of this, but still I will post this particular, the capsules of Vedanta. So the 5 capsules, I will just quickly go through. I am of the nature of eternal and all-pervading consciousness. Number 2, out of 5, this is 2. Therefore, I am the only source of permanent peace, security, and happiness. By my mere presence, I give life to the material body, and through the body I experience the material universe. I am not affected by anything that takes place in the material world and in the material body. By forgetting my nature, I convert the life into a burden, and by remembering my nature, I convert life into a blessing. So this is the 5 capsules given by Swami Paramarthananda. See, this 5 capsules are dealt with in chapter 13 and 14. In the 14th chapter, Krishna deals with the 3 gunas as the stepping stone. Through these 3 gunas, Lord Krishna takes us to the Gunatita Atma. Therefore, this chapter is called Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. The subject matter of Atma Jnana as the liberating wisdom and therefore the greatest knowledge. This is given as an introduction in 14th chapter, first 2 verses. This knowledge is mentioned in the first verse itself as the greatest knowledge, because this alone releases a person from samsara. We have seen already that the saguna matter, that means the body-mind complex, plus nirguna consciousness is the individual. That means the individual is made of body-mind complex, which we call as saguna matter, plus the purusha or nirguna consciousness. All the interactions with the world are done by the mixture of this consciousness, Sakshi and Ahankara. Both are required. Pure Sakshi cannot transact. Therefore, Ahankara is needed. But the undue importance or obsession with Ahankara will lead to all types of problems. And therefore, instead of seeing myself as Ahankara or identifying with Ahankara, I should learn to see myself as Sakshi. That is, I have to learn to see myself as Sakshi, now transacting through Ahankara. So this understanding, we will clearly, or we will understand this point clearly in 14th chapter. Already we have, of course, discussed most of these points. The detailed teaching in this chapter starts from the 5th verse onwards. There he talks about the 3 gunas of Ahankara. To show all the 3 gunas are causes of bondage. The 3 guna, it binds the body with that. We should have a thorough understanding of the 3 gunas. So from 5th verse up to 18th verse, we get an analysis of the 3 gunas, which is essentially an analysis of the Ahankara. Because Ahankara consists of these 3 gunas. First, Krishna gives the Lakshana or definition of the 3 gunas. And then he gives the mode of bondage. That means how each guna binds. This we have seen, but still, as a summary, we will just go through quickly. Then he talks about the lingam, that is, indication to find out which guna is dominant in an individual. அதுக்கப்புறம் gati is discussed. Gati means what? The travel after death. Then finally phalam, the consequences of the predominance of each guna. So in the definition, he gives the sattva guna is prakasatmaka. Rajoguna is ragatmaga. Makam. Tamas is Mohanatmakam. Sattva, that means what? Sattva makes the mind knowledge friendly, which makes the mind bright. Rajoguna makes the mind karma friendly, activity friendly. Tamoguna makes the mind neither knowledge friendly nor activity friendly. The next one is the, we talk about bondage. How does it bind? A learning person will first look for those things related to knowledge. It becomes a bondage if such conducive atmosphere is not there. He gets annoyed. The person becomes restless and unhappy. So this is the bondage of Sattva-guna. Rajoguna looks for activities. That means activity-friendly atmosphere. And when such atmosphere is there, then the mind is very happy. Otherwise, very unhappy. So, in the 14th chapter, the wording, Jnana Sangena. That means, Jnana Sangena Sattvam Badnati, Karma Sangena Rajoguna Badnati. What happened to Tama? It will look for what? So, that is Tamoguna Nidra Sangena. This is the 3 types of Bandhana Prakara. That means binding method. Because in the moon number, so immediately we know that Sattva Guna is great, next comes Rajoguna, and last is Tamoguna. This number pala aspects like bathroom. So when the jnana increases, reading also increases, study increases, thinking increases. It is the indication of sattva vritti. Whereas when activity increases, it is an indication of rajo vritti. When sleep and the sleepy condition increases, it is an indication of tamo vritti. Next, Krishna talked about the gati. That means after death. When a person dies, when sattva is predominant, one goes to higher lokas. When a person dies with rajas predominant, he is born in the Manushya loka. When tamoguna is predominant after death, the person goes down. Urdhagati. Adhogati nu solranga. Adhona kizhada. Namba அடிக்கடி இந்த வேர்ட் யூஸ் பண்ணோம் அதோகதி தான் அப்படின்னு. So that means கீழோ. Next, phalam is taken. The consequences, that means the consequences in this life itself. Gati வந்து after death. That also we can, that is, we easily derive and understand. When sattva guna increases, jnana vriddhi takes place. When rajoguna increases, the ambition and activities increases. And when tamoguna increases, nidra, pramada means carelessness, negligence. This is jasya. Then comes the important 2 verses, 19 and 20, in which Krishna talks about transcending the 3 gunas. Actually, the entire spiritual sadhana is a gradual journey from tamapradhana life to rajapradhana life to sattva-pradhana life and finally to gunaketa life. After a person becomes sattva guna pradhana, then what happens actually? Automatically the Karma Yoga is dropped, Upasana is dropped, because they have done their job by making the sadhaka Sattva-guna pradhan. Then what is the sadhana? That means for Jnana Yoga, Krishna tells clearly. I'll just mention, then afterwards, Sri Ramanathanji will explain many points in this, or important points, other important points. So Krishna in that, what is he telling? Dhanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drishtanu pashyati gunebhyasya param veti madbhavam soti gacchati. This is detail of that means in that when the seer does not see any other doer besides the gunas, and also he perceives that particular one which transcends the gunas, then he attains my state, the supreme state. This is the 14th chapter, it is there in other chapters also. For example, earlier chapter, 13th chapter, 30th verse. Prakriti karmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yaspaschat adatman akartaram sapashyati. He who sees all kinds of activities as instrumented by Prakriti alone. They are instrumented by Prakriti. Prakriti na the moon gunas. And likewise, sees the self as ever the non-doer. That means Atma as ever the non-doer. This person who sees like this is the true seer. This is the 13th chapter. In the particular, that is, everything is done by the three gunas under the third chapter. Anka slightly different. This is we mentioned. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham itu manyate. So the ellame, all activities are done by the three gunas, but the ahankara vimudhatma, the ignorant person, he thinks that I am doing. In the third chapter, we have discussed this. And this is the application actually for real and to use this jnana knowledge perfectly. This is the day-to-day sadhana very useful. This we further paakalam. In the 14th chapter, we use the word Purusha and Prakriti. It is nothing but Brahman and Maya. And this Purusha, Prakriti mixture, alone we call Ishvara. Both of them together are the cause of the universe. This is in the chapter 3rd and 4th. Purusha is consciousness principle. Prakriti is basic matter. This is the first difference between Purusha and Prakriti. Eppome in the Pirichi Pathatu, then we'll understand that. This is in the Pathaka Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Previous is Vibhaga Padite, we try to put together and understand. So the Purusha is Nirvikara Tattva. Adavada, it is a consciousness principle. Not, that means what? Not subject to modification or change. Nirvikara Tattva. And the consciousness principle which we call as Purusha here, that is Nirvikara Tattva. Not subject to modification. Not subject to modification or change. It is ever the changeless principle. In the 5 capsules, first adhan varudhu. Then the Purusha is Nirvikara Tattva. Purusha, the consciousness principle, is free from all attributes. It's Nirguna also. Whereas Prakriti or the matter is endowed with all the properties. We call it Saguna. Purusha stands always distinct from all forms of existence and expression. And he is within the body, denoted by the term I. அதான் ரமணர் நான் யாரும் பார்க்கற சொல்றார். அது கிளியரா இது பண்றதுக்காக. So when I learn to separate myself from Prakriti and its attributes, அதனோட குணங்கள் என்ன ஆறுது? I, அதாவது the Jivatma, will itself get the name Paramatma. I am called Jivatma when I take on the attributes or the gunas of Prakriti. நம்ம அது கூட ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணும்போது it is the I is called Jivatma. See, whether I am attributed I, அதாவது Jivatma, whether I am an attributed I or attributeless, அதாவது Nirguna, Saguna. It depends on whether I am ignorant or wise. So ignorant I is Jivatma, wise I is Paramatma. So I have learned to claim I am Purusha and all the attributes belong to Prakriti. This is called Purusha Prakriti Viveka Jnanena Moksha. So இந்த இத புரிஞ்சிருந்தாக்கா அந்த விவேக ஞானங்க அதுல இருந்து அடையற மோட்சம். இது ஏன்னா இத நம்ம திங்க் பண்ணி பார்த்தால we immediately feel we are free. Suppose a person gains this knowledge, that means understand very clearly. இதுல என்ன the first knowledge itself is what? I am a mixture of Prakriti and Purusha. See, even though இது ஆப்வியஸா இருந்தா கூட இது திங்க் பண்ணும்போது இது ரெண்டு சேர்ந்ததுதான் அந்த இதுதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நாலேஜ். I am the Purusha who does not have the அதாவது அந்த புருஷனா பாவிச்சிருந்தா he doesn't have the first janma itself. அப்புறம் அந்த புனர்ஜன்மத்துக்கெல்லாம் there is no question at all. In the wisdom is called moksha. இதை நம்ம கிளியரா புரிஞ்சுட்டாங்க. Moksha means I am liberated and I will ever be liberated. So therefore, I will never get bound. A person who knows that the body-mind complex is Prakriti and also knows that he is Purusha, that very wisdom releases him from the cycle of Janma and Marana. This is an important point. The 14th chapter la emphasis is இதுதான். ஞானி is நம்ம பார்த்தாக்கா ஞானி நம்ம யாரை சொல்றோம்? Who always abides in his higher nature, self, Atma. Always abides. அப்படின்னா என்ன? He always abides in Gunatita Atma Swarupam. அப்படின்னா என்ன? Abiding in the Atma means not forgetting the fact that I am Gunatita. இதான் again the first point and the 5 capsules Vedantic capsules. So abiding in the Atma means not forgetting the fact that I am Gunatita. It's a very important point. அது abiding na ஏதோ நம்ம பிசிக்கலா மைண்ட் அங்க போய் வச்சுன்னு அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது. இது ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கிறதே தான். So self-abidance is equal to non-forgetfulness of my nature. அது மறக்காம இருக்குது. அகம் பிரம்மாஸ்மின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இனிஷியலா புரிஞ்சுக்கிற வரைக்கும் அதுக்கப்புறம் பி ரமணர் தான் சொல்றாரு. அகம் பிரம்மா சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காரு பி தட். அதுக்கு பழகிறதுக்கு தான் இந்த ஸ்கிரிப்சர்ஸ் எல்லாம் படிக்க அண்ட் பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ண So the type of person who has done, that person will certainly cross over the 3 gunas, because he will be doing all the levels of sadhana, or already he would have done. Inna sadhana consists of karma, then consisting of upasana, and the final level of bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga na idella, see, most of us would have done all these things: Vedanta, Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Idu number nyabam vechukku. Going through all these levels, அதாவது அத இந்த கம்ப்ளீட்டா இத பண்ணிட்டு, then he becomes fit, eligible to become one with Brahman. இதெல்லாம் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் then இது ஆக்சுவலா என்னன்னு பார்த்தா, we do not become the Gunatita Atma. We own up the fact that I was Gunatita. That means இது உணரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி கூட I was Gunatita. Now I am Gunatita and I will be always Gunatita. So the transformation takes place where? In the I. அதனால அந்த ஞான கம்யம் இது வந்து மனசுல அதுல ஏற்படுற சேஞ்ச். And this knowledge based on this type of transformation, இதுதான் it's called moksha or ஜீவன் முக்தி. இப்ப நமக்கு வந்து ஏழியரா அந்த பாவம்லாம் எப்படி இருக்குன்னா, I am so and so னு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒரு நேம், and also the I am a man ங்கிறது, இது வந்து நான் இப்ப டைம் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கிறது இல்ல, அப்படியே ஆயிடுது. அதே அந்த லெவலுக்கு இது போனோம்னாக்கா இந்த அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் தான் இதெல்லாம். இந்த இடத்துல there is no bodily transformation, it is at the mind level or the I ன்னு சொன்னா, இப்ப நம்ம பாடிங்கிற ஞாபகம் வரத்துக்கு I am that Shakshi consciousness, எது வேணாலும் நமக்கு இந்த பெரிய வேர்ட் எல்லாம் போட்டாக்க நம்ம அதெல்லாம் இருக்க முடியாதுங்கிற ஞாபகம் வந்துட்டே இருக்கிறதுனால இது பண்ண முடியல. சோ இது ஆல் த டைம் மறக்காம இருக்கிறது தான் செல்ஃப் அவேர்னஸ். இதெல்லாம் 14th சாப்டர்ல டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் கடைசி 6 இதுல அர்ஜுனா கேட்கிறான், அவனோட கொஸ்டின்ஸ் என்னது? What are the indications of the Gunatita? அப்புறம் characteristics of Gunatita, and then what is the conduct of Gunatita? Achara and the method of becoming Gunatita. இது மூணு எப்படின்னு கேட்கிறோம். அது அந்த பார்த்தோம் நம்ம லாஸ்ட் டைம். இதுக்கு எப்படி நீங்க பார்த்தாக்கா என்ன சேஞ்சஸ் எல்லாம் வரும்? இப்ப நம்ம யூஸ்வலா பீதராக பயக்ரோதான்லாம் சொல்லுவோம். ராகம் அதாவது ஏகப்பட்ட டிசைர், அது பண்ணு அது இல்லாம பயம் இருந்துட்டே இருந்ததுன்னா அது சில பேருக்கு நிறைய இருக்கும். குரோதம், கோபம், அது வந்துட்டே இருக்கும். இதுல இந்த குணாதீதா ஆகும் போது இண்டிகேஷன் என்னன்னாக்கா, இந்த ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி ஆஃப் லெட் அஸ் சே ஆங்கர் அது வந்து கம்மியாயிடும். முந்தைய வந்து டெய்லி ஒரு நாளைக்கு 10 தரம் கோபம் வரும். அப்புறம் போக அது கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா குறைஞ்சு 10 நாளைக்கு ஒரு தரம் தான் வரும். அந்த மெச்சூரிட்டி வர, இந்த அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் வர இதை பத்தி நம்ம புரிஞ்சுக்கலாம். ஸோ கொஞ்சம் தேர் இஸ் சம் இது டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர்மேஷன். அடுத்தது வந்து இன்டென்சிட்டி ஆஃப் ஆங்கர். முதல்லாம் கோவம் தான் அடிக்கிறது, இல்லைன்னா இப்ப பாத்திரத்தை தூக்கிறது, இந்த மாதிரி பிசிக்கல் ஆக்ஷன் கூட இருக்கும். இந்த இன்டென்சிட்டி கம்மியாயிடும், குறைஞ்சிடும். ப்ராபபிலி மேக்ஸிமம் 3 சதவீதம் இருக்கும். So in the reduction we can see when we progress. அடுத்து வந்து நமக்கு ஒன்ஸ் நமக்கு கோவம் வந்தாலும் குயிக்கா ரிகவரி ஆகும். அதுவும் ரொம்ப முக்கியம். சோ இதுதான் நமக்கு இண்டிகேஷன். இதுதான் அந்த அர்ஜுனோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் क्वेश्चंसக்கு ஆன்சர். என்னெல்லாம் இண்டிகேஷன்ஸ்? செகண்ட் क्वेश्चन என்ன கேக்குறாங்கன்னா, how does he conduct himself in life? கிருஷ்ணா அது கிளியரா எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றாரு. அதுவும் நம்ம பார்த்துருக்கோம். அவரோட ஒன் மெயின் பாயிண்ட் which he emphasized is சர்வத்திர சமத்துவம். சமத்துவம் தான் எல்லா இதுலயும். நல்லதோ கெட்டதோ எல்லாத்துலயும் ஒரே இது வந்து சமத்துவ பாவம்னா ரைட் ஃப்ரம் செகண்ட் சாப்டர்ல இருந்து இருக்குது. இதுதான் பிராக்டிஸ் ஆக்சுவலா. அண்ட் அது அட்டைன்மெண்ட் செகண்ட் சாப்டர்ல ஒரு இது ஒரு யோகஸ்த குரு கர்மாணி சங்கம் த்யக்த்வா தனஞ்சய சித்ய சித்யோ சமோ பூத்வா சமத்வம் யோக யுச்யதே. இந்த சமத்துவம் தான் யோகா. அந்த சமத்துவம் பழக பழக இந்த யோகா, இந்த யோகாங்கிறது அந்த யோகா இந்த இதை வச்சுட்டுதான் டூ ஆல் ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸ்ங்கிறது. சோ அதுல என்ன ரிசல்ட் வந்தாலும் அஃபெக்ட் ஆகாம இருக்குது. இந்த unaffected is a practice because I am never affected. பார்த்தோம் நம்ம 5 வேதாந்தி கேப்சூல்ல I am not affected by anything that takes place in the material world and in the material body. In the stage அது இதுதான், அதுக்கு தான் ரைட் ஃப்ரம் தி பிகினிங் இது சமத்துவம்ங்கிற இது சர்வத்திர சமத்துவம் 14 சாப்டர்லயும் இருக்கு, வரிசையா இருக்கு. சோ அத வந்து இப்போ இது சம்மதிங்கிறதுனால ஒரு இதுல வச்சிருக்கோம். இந்த சமத்துவம் தான் ஒரு பிராக்டிஸ். The final question is how to become gunatita. Knowledge gained with the bhakti of the Lord. அதுதான் first. அப்புறம் surrender to the Lord and by the grace of the Lord let's get jnanam, and that jnanam is the only solution. எதுக்கு? குணாதீதனாருக்கு. So that means what? Through bhakti alone we start. That is bhakti of the Lord. அப்புறம் இந்த bhakti alone we can't get liberation. Through bhakti we get what? Conducive atmosphere for knowledge. And the personality, it becomes conducive. And then through that real knowledge one attains moksha. இந்த இடத்துல கிருஷ்ணர் யூஸ் பண்ற வேர்டு அவ்யபிசாரி பக்தி. அதாவது பக்தி through which I seek the Lord and the Lord alone. இந்த இடத்துல லார்ட்னா அடுத்த லாஸ்ட் இதுல வரும் கான்சியஸ்னஸ், அடுத்த வேர்ட்ஸ்ல இருக்காது. லார்ட்னா அந்த இடத்துல தான். தட் மீன்ஸ் ஆல் த டைம். இப்ப நம்ம சொன்ன மறக்காம I am of the nature of eternal and all pervading consciousness. இதான் அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேப்சூல். சோ அதுலயே கவனம் எப்பவும் அப்படி இருக்கோமான்னு செக் பண்ணிட்டேன். சோ அவருக்கு கிருஷ்ணர் சொல்றாரு என்ன, எப்பவும் வர்ஷிப் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கவன் that person will certainly cross over the 3 gunas. That means all the time remembering. worshipனால அதான் that person easily he can cross over the 3 gunas because he will be doing all the levels of sadhana. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் இங்க வந்திருக்கோம். அதுல என்ன கன்சிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் கர்மா கன்சிஸ்டிங் ஆஃப் உபாசனா அண்ட் ஃபைனல் லெவல் ஆஃப் பக்தி யோகா. இந்த இடத்துல பக்தி யோகான்னு என்ன? வேதாந்த சிரவணா மனனா அண்ட் நித்யாசனா. சோ இதான் அந்த 14th சாப்டரோட லாஸ்ட் இதுல எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிருக்கிறது. இந்த சோ இது ரெகுலரா இது வரைக்கும் நம்ம ஏஜ்ல மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் us would have gone through all these stages, சிரவண மனன நிதித்தியாசன. சோ இந்த டிஸ்கஷன் சத்சங்கெல்லாம் நமக்கு அப்பப்போ இட்ஸ் ஏதாவது ஸ்மால் பிட்ச் ஆர் டவுட் இருந்தா கூட இட் கெட்ஸ் கிளியர். சோ ஆல் த டைம் அப்படி இருக்கிறது தான். அது இந்த மாதிரி அட்மாஸ்பியர்ல வேற ஒன்றும் நமக்கு இல்ல. we can spend rather whole time sadhana. அது மாதிரி ஒரு பிளேஸ் இங்க. சோ இது வந்து ஃபைனலா அந்த விஸ்டம்ங்கிறது சேஞ்ச் இன் ஆட்டிடியூட். தட் அது வந்து ஆல் த டைம் இருக்குங்கிறது நமக்கு தெரியும். இதுல என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்னாக்கா நம்ம லாஸ்ட் இதுலயே பார்த்தோம். இந்த பியூர் கான்சியஸ்னஸ்ல இருக்கும்போது, ஆத்மால இருக்கும்போது there is no thinking, nothing. It's just a pure consciousness. இதுவும் நம்ம பார்த்திருக்கோம். தூக்கத்துல இருக்க மாதிரி. தூக்கத்துல இருக்கும் போது நம்ம பீஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கோம்னு தெரியவே தெரியாது. தேர்ந்து வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் we say I slept well. இதுதான் இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் அடிக்கடி சொன்னா கூட இது ரொம்ப ஞாபகம். சோ அதனால இது நமக்கு புலப்படாம இருக்கு. யாருக்கு? இந்த அகங்காரத்துக்கு. அந்த 3 குணம் அதுக்கு. சோ இது நம்ம ரொம்ப கிளியரா எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிருக்கு. இப்போ நான் வந்து I'll stop here and Sri Ramanathan ji, he wants to add some more points to this discussion. Hari Om, Hari Guru.
Chapters, the emphasis was on Ishvara, that is Brahma and Maya. Brahma and Maya. Maya is the cause for all the activities, creation of objects. Then we have come to the last 6 chapters, which is talking about Jnana Yoga, how to get Jnana, and what benefit you will get by getting this Jnana. Now this chapter, 14th chapter, is called Gunatita, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. We know earlier from Atma Bodha and Tattva Bodha, Brahmashraya Maya. Brahmashraya Maya. Maya cannot stay independently. It has to depend upon Brahman. And this Maya comprises 3 gunas. Trigunaatmika Maya. Trigunaatmika Maya means it comprises of 3 gunas. Sattva guna, Rajo guna and Tamo guna. Now these 3 gunas are firmly binding with our ahankara. It does not allow the ahankara to get itself free. So that means we are all possessed with these 3 gunas. When you get up from bed, you are in Sattva guna, because you had a nice sleep and the mind is calm. After about 8 o'clock, we start preparing for going to the office or college or whatever activities we have. That is called Rajoguna. In the evening, when we come back, we are tired, so we want to take a rest, and that is Tamoguna. So Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Everyone has all the 3 gunas in different proportions. 3 gunas in different proportions. Somebody has Sattva guna maximum. Somebody has got Rajo guna maximum. Somebody has Tamo guna maximum. The example in Ramayana, we have the characters of Ravana, Vibhishana, and another person,
Kumbhakarna.
Kumbhakarna. Now, Ravana was all the time active, Rajoguna. He cannot stay even 1 minute without doing any work. We have seen Nahi kaschit chanamabi jatu tishtat agarma krita. You cannot stay even a moment without doing any work. Kumbhakarna was embodiment of Tamoguna, all the time sleeping. 6 months sleeping, 6 months wake up. And then we have Vibhishana, who has a Sattva guna, fair person. So this is a classical example. In same family, three gunas are displayed in different sons, in different children. Similarly, in our own body, at times we are sattvic, at times we are rajasic, at times we are tamasic. If the three gunas are in equal proportion, 33 and 1/3% each, then there is no creation. Only if there is an imbalance in this gunas, then the creation comes in. Creation is what? All the vishayas, objects, what we enjoy, including our food, and also the human being. We are all made up of three gunas. So the three gunas are inbuilt in us. And ahankara is preventing the three gunas to leave. Because if the three gunas leave us, then we are jnanis. We are a totally a knowledgeable person, and we are mumukshu. You can call it a jivan mukta or a videha mukta. So these two. Why the ahankara is holding on to that? If ahankara wants to make us dance and preventing us from reaching the higher goal, that is because it does not want to lose the hold. That is what we call as a bondage. In our day-to-day case, our bondage is our sorrow. The stronger the bondage, stronger the sorrow. It's a directly proportional. I have an attachment with my children, I have an attachment with my wife, and to that extent, equivalent extent, I have dukkha also, because that is on the reverse side. As long as everything goes well, we are all very happy. The moment the children or the family members stop giving us sukham, then we want to get rid of it. So that means that is why we call it as the coin has got two sides. One side is sukham, the other side is dukkham. But we see all the time only sukham. We don't see the reverse side, that is dukkham. So if you want to get out of this sukha dukkha, then we should be a jnani. Because once you get jnanam, then you can slowly, all the vishayas, objects in the world, they are all illusory. It is created by Maya. Then you can enjoy. Then you can go on. Now we have the three gunas. Gunatita means, atita means the one who wants to cross over the three gunas, transcending the three gunas, from tamo guna to rajo guna. You cannot go from tamo guna to sattva guna. So you have to go from tamo guna to rajo guna. And this transcending can take place only with karma yoga. Because as tamo guna person, you are inactive, you are lazy. So give him some work. And then slowly he understands that I will do the work as karma yoga. That means physical action, physical activities. And mentally we have the attitude that I am doing for the sake of the Lord. Second step is from Rajoguna to Sattva-guna. Rajoguna is activities. And Sattva-guna means knowledge-based activity. To cross this from Sattva, Rajoguna to Tamoguna, we should go for Upasana. Upasana means meditation, dhyana, and studying the scriptures, studying the Gita, listening to all the Upanishad lectures. So these will make us transform from Rajoguna to Sattva-guna. So Rajoguna, Tamoguna and Rajoguna can be crossed by means of activities. That is Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga. Now we come to Sattva-guna. We have crossed the two. We come to Sattva-guna. In the Sattva-guna, what happens is, your mind is very pure now. And the mind can receive, the clarity is very good. That is, the mind has become subtle. From gross mind, we have become subtle. Subtle means we can grasp. The subtle mind allows us to, after listening to lectures, scriptures, and Vedantic lectures, what happens is we come to know that we are not the body. We have been given a body, but we are not the body, because now we think we are the body. That is why we are spending so much of money in keeping well of the body. But the nature says the body is Shat Vikaras. 6 Vikaras are there for the body, which nobody can stop it or resist it. I don't want an old age. But no, it's not possible. You have to. So the Shat Vikaras, once I know I am not the body, but I have a body, I am the consciousness, and I have a temporary body. So now you see the shift from, we are in Sattva-guna now. Once you cross over the Sattva-guna, but crossing over Sattva-guna is not possible. Mentally. Physical activities cannot do that. So there we have to come to Jnana Yoga. And once you come to you are the consciousness with a temporary body. And the temporary body has been given for enjoyment. For that, the world, Maya has given us all the objects. But he has also given you the 3 gunas. But do the activities according to Dharma. Follow Dharma. So that is why we have the 4 Purusharthas called Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So when you have Karma Yoga, you are seeing all the activities as ordained by Bhagavan. Then when you come to Upasana Yoga, we are concentrating the mind in unidirection, one direction. And once we have then the Jnana Yoga says Sravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasana. So in the Jnana Yoga we come to know that the body has to undergo 6 vikarams, that is Jayate, Vardhate, Parinamite, Viparinimate, Apakshiyate and Vinashyati. So that's what he says in this second chapter. Jadasya dhruvo murtihu dhruvam janma murtasya cha tasmat abriharyete natvam shochitu markati. So no use of weeping. The moment you resist, then the problem comes in. As long as you don't resist, no problem. But the moment the resistance comes, that is called samsara. Now, once the three gunas, we are now in Sattva Guna. We have to cross over the Sattva Guna. And then Maya, which is Saguna Swarupa. That means I said we have three gunas. So the one who has all the three gunas and worshipping, they are a Saguna Bhakta. That means they got all the gunas, so Saguna Bhakta. And from Saguna Bhakta, one has to go to Nirguna Bhakta. That is called Gunatita. So Nirguna Bhakta, free from attributes. So if you have to give up all the attributes, then you become a Gunatita, or you have become Nirguna Bhakta. Nirguna. That is the definition for Atma. So for example, now you have an object. That object you perceive through your eyes, and the mind is used, and then you get a vritti, thought of that object, which is imprinted in our mind, and that imprintment thought is illumined by reflected consciousness. Because the mind has got a ability to reflect the original consciousness. So that is why we come to know that, suppose if I see an elephant through the eyes, that elephant jnanam comes because of that reflected consciousness. But the original consciousness is already inbuilt in each one of us. We all have inbuilt consciousness, which we are not aware. And that is called Nirguna. So Nirguna Chaitanyam is the one which is illumining our thought. Vritti Jnanam, Balak Jnanam. So that means we all have that Nirguna Brahman inside. But that is combined with Saguna Brahman. So Nirguna Saguna Brahma mixture is what we have. Now you have to separate these two. The one who can use the scriptures to separate this Nirguna and Saguna, he is called Gunatita. That's what he says in the sloka number 19 and 20. In the 19 he says, Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yata drashtadu pashyati. Drashta means the seeker. Anupashyati means I see the higher side of I. That means, what do I see from the higher side? Gunebhya kartaram na anyaha. Gunebhya kartaram na anyaha. There is no karta other than the gunas. So please note that gunas are responsible for the karta. Kartritvam and bhoktartvam, including enjoyment. But this knowledge gives you yata drashta anupashyati. So I clearly know that I am not the karta, I am not the bhokta. Gunebhya parambeti. Parambeti. So there is something beyond this gunas. Something beyond the gunas. Gunebhya parambeti. Yat bhavam soti gacchati. That man attains me. That means I and Bhagavan, we are one and the same. So now you see Gunatita. So that means to cross these gunas, mainly we will come to know that gunas are only mainly responsible for our activities and bhoktritvam. So if one can give up this bhoktritvam and kartritvam, then you are on the right track. It doesn't mean that somebody will say, that means I have to give up everything. I should not eat. I should not sleep. I should not keep my body clean. No. Lord Hanuman, when he wanted to cross over the Lanka ocean, people thought it is very difficult for him to cross. It's a very big ocean. But what did he do? He prayed to Bhagavan, Sri Rama, and Bhagavan's blessings, they made Bhagavan gave him the immense strength for him to cross. So what happened? That ocean became a small pool of water. That ocean became a very small pool of water, and once you have got a small pool of water, you can easily cross over the other side. Please note, the ocean was remaining the same, but he has shifted his lower right to higher right. Lower right to higher right, shifting. Same thing happens to us. Once we become a Jivan Mukta, we also have all our paraphernalia left here. It is only made ineffective. It is not active anymore at all. As long as we don't give life to that, it is not active. So that is the benefit. That's what he says in the second sloka, 20th. Gunan etan atitya tri. That means if you cross over the three gunas, dehi deha samut bhavat. The cause for the body is the three gunas. And what is the benefit you are getting? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Dukkha, Yonihi, Dukkha Ihi. That is, I told you, that Vigaras. That Vigaras belongs to the body, belongs to the Saguna Brahma. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Dukkha Ihi, Vibhuktaha, Amrutam, Ashmate. I become immortal. I become a Jivan Mukta. So this is the most important two slokas are the Gunatita, which I thought I will give some explanation. Thank you, Nararajan sir.
Thank you. So, time at this was finished. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaskaram.